Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't realize we were on. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. Today's video has me putting into the Polaris Dynamix XP4 an Asylum cage with the intrusion bar and an Asylum roof. So before you keep watching, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and maybe even hit the like button. This is actually a project you might be able to do by yourself. I did most everything myself except for just getting some help to lift the main section of the cage into the RZR. The reason I got this cage was solely because I think it looks cool. I like the lower roof line in the back. One of the few things I like about the Can-Ams is the lower look. This cage gave me that look. I also thought that the way the cage integrates into the rear bumper was a really cool thing. And all right, the cage is obviously safer also. The metal's a thicker gauge, and it has a two-piece cage as opposed to Polaris, which I think has 5 pieces, not including the rear bumper. Also, there's the intrusion bar, the intrusion bar on the front, so nothing flies through, or, well, prevents things like tree branches and things from whipping you in the face if you don't. So when all is said and done, I will have an extra roof, a rear bumper, and an original roll cage for sale to recoup some of the money I spent on the cage and the roof. I think I spent about a total of $2,600. During this video, we're going to have the speedy version of me doing all the work and removing the light bar, the front seats, the front doors, the plastic B-pillars, the S&B particle separator, the mirrors, and after all of that comes out, then we can get the roll cage out. I probably spent about 8 hours of work on this, getting it out and then getting the cage in and then putting everything else back in. It's quite a bit of work, but none of it's really hard as long as you got the right tools. Probably used a 8, a 10, a 15, a 17 sockets, mostly. Other than that, you know, some open-end wrenches, different tools like that, and maybe a hammer. Definitely a hammer. I thought the hardest part of getting the old cage out was going to be by the B-pillars. The B-pillars are covered by a lot of plastic, and I thought I was going to have to take off the rocker panels, but turns out you didn't have to. After you take off the B-pillar plastic and the front door, you can go ahead and slide, pull back the plastic, and you can get to those 2 bolts. I've got the aftermarket seats, so the seat belt was attached to it, so disconnect it right there. I don't remember if the original seat belts are attached there or not. Maybe they are. But you just got to disconnect that and put it back in, and make sure when you put your seatbelts back in, make sure you don't twist them. That was a problem I had the first time I put the seatbelts in. They were twisted and I had to redo it. The hardest part was the back half of the cage that connects to the plate covering the rear control arms. Those bolts, you have to have like really skinny, long fingers with 6 or 7 joints. I got normal hands. So, of course, that took a lot of time, a lot of luck. I dropped the lower nuts several times trying to get them in. So finally I just lowered the skid plate, and I was able to get the nuts back a lot easier than trying to retrieve it with a magnet and still not finding them. So after an intense little bit of time and curses and blood, sweat, and tears. No, there's no blood in there. It was pretty cold. There was no sweat, and I didn't cry. But anyway, got it done. So at this point, I'm going to add some funky copyright-free music while we go through the install in fast motion. And then I'm going to come back to talk about the roof install and then have the final before and after pictures side by side with the magic of video editing. So hold on for that and enjoy the music. Sorry. So the roof install was easy, but real stupid. Pro Armor, can you hear me? How about some install instructions? Just something simple like a piece of paper that says this bracket goes here and that one goes there. Their online video says it takes 10 minutes for a two-seater with one person. Maybe, but the fit on the front was a little weak with a little bit of gaps by the A-pillar. Knowing which bracket goes where, it would have saved some time, but I think I'm just being selfish for asking for that, so don't do it. I think the roof is probably a bit thinner than the Polaris one. It has more flex. When you move it around, you can feel it, definitely, but it looks better and it does the same thing. It keeps the sun out and it keeps mud from flopping on your face. The Polaris wing on the back, not really something I was a fan of. I like the way the Pro Armor goes down instead of up and has a little logo. It kind of looks cool. Other than that, everything's installed, everything's ready to go. Spent half a weekend doing this, but I love the way it looks. All right, we're going to go back to some non-copyrighted music while we finish up the roof install, and then we're going to have the pictures of the side-by-side before and after pictures. And I want to thank everyone for watching the video. I hope you made it to the end. And until next time, thanks for watching.